Hello everyone and welcome back to E2E. Today we are going to knock out all of the remaining quests in the quest tree, which does include unlocking the Bragging Rights Gate, which is crafting the ultimate crafting table, which we will need to actually get the Draconic armor. That's the whole reason why I'm doing all these quests, just so we can get this, just so we can get the Draconic armor, just so I can kill that stupid Chaos Guardian, because it destroyed me last time. Okay, yep, this is literally just a revenge arc. That's the entire purpose of this now. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I think the first thing we should probably do is get the getting started gate completed. Yeah, we're in the end game, and I still haven't completed the getting started line. And I don't even think we will be able to complete this today because I'm fairly certain this one's a chaos shard. But we can go ahead and grab these three. This one is Terra Steel, so we just need to melt up 2 ingots of Terra Steel and put it into a cast. And I know for a fact the next one is Supremium, so we can go ahead and grab that as well. I think the next one's Awakened Draconium, but I'm not sure, so let's just kind of put these in here and speed that up a little bit because I am lazy, and then we can cast these into the sharpening kit. Alright, so let's see. Terra Steel sharpening kit, that should be a quest. Yep. Supremium should be next. Yes, it was. Nice. And then next up is Awakened Sharpening Kit. So you do need Awakened Draconium. Okay. Awakened Sharpening Kits are made from Awakened Cores. Okay, so we do actually need the cores. So that's just fantastic. We're going to have to make some of those. And honestly, I think I might just want to make like half a stack of these because we have the Wyvern cores for it. Speaking of Wyvern cores, we should just queue these up whenever we can because I know we're going to need more. But anyway, let's see. We need 5 stacks of Awakened Draconium, so we need 2.5 stacks. We have 8,300 essence. That's not a whole lot. Yeah, we can't even make 1,000 of them. All right, there we go. That should be everything we need for half a stack of Awakened cores. Hopefully we don't need more than this, but I can guarantee you that we will. So we're going to have to wait on the seeds here because I don't really want to craft more Awakened Draconium. This seed, by the way, is very, very slow. And it also doesn't help that you need 27 essence to even make a single piece of Awakened Draconium. Now, since we set up automation for this last episode, I should just be able to put all these in here, and it should just go. That is the goal, at least. Let's see, is this going to, in fact, start on its own? Okay, it looks like I just had to replace the redstone clock, and that should be going on its own. So we can go ahead and wait for 2 of them to be crafted. I would assume you need 2. I'm only going to melt 1 just in case, assuming you actually melt them. And then we can get that sharpening kit. All right, in a strange turn of events, you actually use the normal pattern. So that's interesting, but there we go. There we have a Awakened Sharpening Kit. Nice, and I'm going to take the guess that this is the chaotic one. Yep, Chaos Sharpening Kits are made from Chaotic Cores, so we're going to need 2 Chaotic Cores, so that's not so good, and we're definitely not doing that because we have to actually fight the Chaos Guardian for that, so yeah, that's not happening. Anyways, let me grab a piece of flint, and we can actually put this on our pickaxe here. I mean, I don't know anything that actually has Awakened Draconium mining level, but the Chaos Shards, if they're actually a thing in the world, might, so it's probably good that we would have this. Fortified with Awakened. Perfect, and the pickaxe has a nice orange tip now. There's like 15 different colors on this pickaxe. Alright, anyways, so that is that completed, and it does look like you do get different rewards for this. For the Terra Steel, you get some infusion crystals. That would have actually been nice a while ago, but oh well. Supremium, you just get a loot chest. I'm just going to open this one. Okay, it literally was just a normal loot chest. I really thought it was going to be some special one or something. And the Awakened one, we can either take an Angle Sight or a Benitoite. And I'm going to take the Benitoite because these are way more annoying. Nice. All right, we can probably forget that we have that, or we can try to use it. Who knows? That is the getting started completed as far as we can go. We're going to save gates for last, so let's just go to extra utilities. Now, I know for a fact that this is probably going to be extremely boring, so I think I'm just going to make things, and if there's any kind of interesting thing about it, then I will mention it, but otherwise we'll just start crafting. Starting off with the golden lasso. Next up is the cursed lasso, and then an angel ring. We do have an angel ring already, so if I just take this off, will this count? No, it will not. Okay, we have to make another one. Now, interestingly enough, to actually make the angel ring, you need a chicken wing ring, which means you have to put a chicken in a golden lasso. Lucky for us, we can literally just buy a chicken spawn egg from the market here and then just capture it. Nice. And there we have a new angel ring, which should count. Good. Next up is a screen. And we already have angel block completed because we got that as a quest reward, so let's go move on to wireless RF. And now onto a mechanical user. This can be used to automate nearly every player action, which we may end up using. I know Cyclic has a automated user as well, which is what I have been using, but maybe this one can do things that the Cyclic one can't. More specifically, resonating gems from Astral Sorcery. We're going to need to make those at some point, and we're going to need a lot. So we're going to have to figure out a way to automate this. So maybe this can do it. Oh, and this one literally just takes 2 of the Cyclic ones. Okay. And last but not least on this line is the scanner. Can scan for blocks in front of it. Cool. Don't know why we need that. That line is now complete. Let's go this way. Dark glass is glass that does not let any light through. Nice. Next up is ethereal glass. We should actually have some of that because I had to make the angel ring with it. Yep. And last but not least is a builder wand. I've definitely made one of these before because we needed 9 of them to make the creative builder's wand. Now that line's complete. Next up is the spikes. I think I've made diamond spikes before, and I wonder if you actually need to level all of them up. I just didn't ever put them in my inventory, so that's fine. Nice, and it did already count the diamond spikes, thankfully, because I did not want to have to craft another one of those. Next up is Grid Power Generation 3, which is a dragon egg mill. This is going to be a decently expensive recipe. Stone burnt, nether stars, redstone gear, ender pearl, and the eye of redstone. Oh, that's actually not that bad. Okay, never mind. We should have made this a lot earlier because that would increase our GP generation by a substantial amount. And honestly, I think let's go ahead and place this down right now. Now, it does look like you can actually place more than one. I think I'm going to do that. So let's see. 0 to 500 is 0% loss. 500 to 1,000 is 50% loss. So I think if you have 3 of them, that would give you 1,000 GP. So let's just go ahead and do that. And we just got a quest for the Deep Dark. We'd have to actually craft that portal, and thankfully we don't have to, because that is a rather expensive recipe. Sextuple compressed cobblestone, 500,000 cobblestone blocks times 4, so 2 million cobblestone. That would take forever to craft, so I'm happy we got that out of a quest. I never actually went there. Maybe, you know what? Let's just do that right now. Apparently just standing on it will force you to go there. So we're going to go to the Deep Dark for like 30 seconds just to see what it looks like. Oh, you know, I don't know what I expected. It's probably just a, yeah. Interesting. Should we dig down or should we dig up? Let's dig up first. Looks like we got bedrock all the way up at the top here. Kind of expected that. Yep. Interestingly enough, there's also just random cobblestone pillars up here. Not really sure what that's about. Let's go dig down now. And it looks like it's just a very large cave system, and I'm just randomly taking damage. I don't know why. Something is lurking in the darkness. You better bring torches. Oh, so you just, like, die when it's dark? Oh, yeah, that is the case. Wow, I just put a torch down, and I'm no longer dying. Huh. All right, well, it looks like I accidentally made 4 dragon egg mills, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and make some dragon eggs real quick. Now, we should have, yep, a decent amount of dragon egg essence. We can go ahead and make 12 shards, and then I think we just combine them like that, and we get 4 dragon eggs. Nice. And let's just go ahead and chuck these down right here, and on go the dragon eggs. Next up is going to be the barrels. We are going to need these gargantuan drums, I believe. Yes, we do need them to craft the creative fluid tank, so we're going to actually go ahead and set up auto-crafting recipes for all of these, because if we take a look at the gargantuan drum, you need the reinforced ones, which means you need the iron ones, which means you need the stone ones. So let's just set up recipes for all those. There's the stone one, and the iron one, and the reinforced one. And we did go ahead and take that off since I believe we got one from a quest reward, and I think it's right over here. Yep, there it is right there. Sweet, so we don't actually have to make these. And that's good because they take some rather annoying things to get. The Klein bottles are pretty easy. We just need bottle of enchanting, clear glass, and ender dust. That's not too bad. Demonically large plates, we're going to have to get demon metal, which I believe is just drop a gold ingot into lava with netherrack. That's not too bad, but I think that takes a long time, so good thing we didn't have to make one. Alright, next up we are going down the tree to craft the rainbow generator. Now I don't think any of these are going to require too many complex recipes. If they do, I'll say something. Otherwise, I'm just going to make them. But it does look like we have a couple machines first. Let's get these knocked out. First up is the crusher. Next up is the furnace. And last but not least, the enchanter. Alright, now on to the generators. We got, I think, 16 of these to make, and then we can combine all of them into the rainbow generator. So first up, the survival generator. Next up, furnace generator. And then the culinary generator. This, I believe, burns food. Next up, the magmatic generator. Then onto the heated redstone generator. Now the ender generator produces power from ender pearls. And now the potion generator, you give it potions, I believe. Next up, the pink generator produces power from pink items. Okay. Now we have the overclocked generator. Now the explosive generator produces from TNT. The frosty generator, probably from cold items. Yep, figured. And then onto the slimy generator. Yep, slime. Milk and slime. That is a weird combination, but sure. Now we're on to the last row. Disenchantment generator takes enchantments off of things. Halitosis generator produces it from dragon's breath. Yeah, we're definitely not using that. Death generator. And last but not least, the nether star generator. You give it nether stars. And this is where we reach a bottleneck, because the nether star generator requires an ender star, which you need ender crafting for. This was the thing that I was talking about that needs a lot of resonating gems earlier, because you need like 100 of these, and you cannot really automate resonating gems. We're going to have to figure out a way to do that, but I think it would be a pretty good time to get ender crafting going. So let's just go ahead and make that. To make the actual crafter, you need a crafting table, eye of ender, an ender ingot. An ender ingot is literally just iron and an ender pearl, so we can just craft a stack of that. So here's our crafter, and I believe we also need some pedestals. And there we go. Now I don't know where I'm going to put this, so it's going on the front lawn like everything else does when I don't know where to put it. Oh wait, it's literally just a crafting table. So then what do you need these alternators for? Oh dear. Maybe we need to read into this a little bit. Huh. Well, I guess we'll figure that out later. Anyways, let's just go actually try to craft something in here, and then maybe that'll, make us figure out how this works. All right, materials have been gathered. Let's just try to craft it, I guess. And it appears not to be working. It's either that or it's stupidly slow, or maybe you have to power these. I'm not actually sure. Okay, what do you do with this? Oh, it's going. Can I put more of them down? Oh, I can. Oh, so do these just speed them up? Oh, this might be just speeding it up. Oh, okay. Well, we're definitely going to be making more of those because this is stupidly slow, and I don't like sitting around waiting. Or we could just use a time in a bottle. That also works. All right, there's our 2 ender stars. Now, I believe we need to surround one of them with the ender ingot. Yep, looks like it. And then that will make something. I don't remember what we're making. Oh, right, enhanced ender ingot. And there is our enhanced ender ingots. Nice. Let's go make this generator. And now on to the rainbow generator. The rainbow generator can produce stupidly large amounts of power. For it to run, it needs to have one of every generator except itself from extra utilities nearby and running. We're definitely not going to be running this. I also did check. I don't think it's actually worth running these because the solar panels themselves just make more power. But we have to make this anyway. So to actually make this, we need some opinium cores, 4 of them. And this is crafted with blocks of emerald cores flour and decent cores, which is crafted from passable cores, which is made from mediocre cores, which is made from pathetic cores, which is made from red coal and a block of iron. And red coal comes from putting coal into the resonator. And there we have our opinium cores being crafted. Nice. Next step is the ultimate speed upgrades. We're going to need evil infused iron ingots. We have drops of evil and also a magical speed upgrade, which we're going to need enchanted ingots and magical apples. I think I'm just going to make 8 of these instead of 2 because apparently these will increase the speed of this. And this is really slow. Plus we have the 4 in here and also 4 in here. So let's just make all of them. Why not? To get enchanted ingot, we just need an enchanter, lapis, and gold plus some power. That's not too bad. Now I'm just going to set this up temporarily right here. Eventually we may need to move this if we need to actually automate this. I think we actually do. Yep, they are using ultimate ingot. We'll get that done later. That's going to be its own episode. For now, we're just going to put it here, run some power over here, and call it a day. All right, there we go. Looks like it did actually need to have the whole enchantment set up here. Looks to be good. Let's speed that up, and let's speed it up again. That should be everything else complicated we need. We already have the Draconic core. Now all we need to do is get the top half and bottom half of the rainbow generator. And this is literally just all of the generators that we have previously made. Perfect. And I think that is the entirety of the extra utilities tree completed. Next stop, actually additions. Now this one doesn't look to be too bad. We have the majority of this done. We can even knock out like half of these just basically by picking things up out of the ME system. Specifically, empowered Restonia crystal. That was easy. And that also unlocked the terrestrial artifact because we've made those before. So now let's go ahead and knock out the rest of these. There looks to be 5 batteries, so let's just get those. That was pretty simple. We are not going to be using that, but at least we have it. All right, let's go ahead and do this first. Crusher, we've made one of these before. I had to make a double crusher at some point, so that should just be a pretty simple craft. And next up is a powered furnace. Go ahead and grab the automatic feeder. And now onto some canola oil stuff. So we need to grab a canola press to turn canola into canola oil. Next up, we need to make a fermenting barrel. Next up is to upgrade our canola by making crystallized canola. And last but not least, empowered canola seeds, which will probably grow canola even faster. And we just need 4 normal canola seeds, a crystallized one, and we put that into our combination crafting core right here. And there we have it. 2 final things left. Phantom Face. By binding the Phantom Face to a block, you can interact with that block by interacting with the Phantom Face. Now, hang on just a minute. This actually might be really useful. If I can make these attached to the ME system, I can add more than one interface on a side of a machine, which would be really convenient. I don't know if I'll ever set these up. If I ever do need to do that, I'll look into it. But I think for now, let's just go ahead and make this. I already made the Phantom Face. I think I got this out of a quest reward. And the only other thing we need is the connector, which is pretty cheap. And the last thing in the tree, a fishing net. And there we have it. Actually Additions is now also complete. Let's move on to industrial foregoing. Now here's to hoping that a lot of these things don't actually require pink slime because I don't think I have any left. Alright, first up is a black hole storage. The crafting recipe for these aren't too bad. I did have to make black hole units for the creative storage upgrades. Unfortunately, the black hole talisman requires Gaia Spirit, and I'm completely out. I've either misplaced it or used it all, and I don't remember. So we're going to have to take a quick detour to fight Gaia for the unit and the tank. But we can make the controller right now, so let's go ahead and do that. And now we have to go fight Gaia again. At least we get to listen to the epic music again, though. Yep, there we go. Gaia defeated. I also got this random music disc that we're going to go put in the jukebox because I'm curious. Oh, wait, this is the boss theme? Let's go. Next up is the sludge refiner. We're not going to be using this. This is a ore duplication method, and I believe it's only 2x, and there's definitely better ways to get 2x. Next up, enchantment extractor. This extracts enchantments. That can be pretty convenient, although I do have various other ways to get this. Next up is the plant sower. This probably just seeds things. And right under that is the plant gatherer. This probably gathers things. Next up, the laser base. This is for the laser drill, which we don't actually need because we have all the ores already. And the second part is, of course, the actual drill itself. Next up, animal feeder, feeds animals. Onto the fluid crafter. Next up, animal baby separator, separates baby animals from the big ones. Next up, plant fertilizer, fertilizes plants. This would have been really useful when making the pizza restaurant here, but unfortunately I don't think we need it anymore because there's 25 stacks of pizza in there. And since I have this regeneration beacon now, I haven't had to eat in about like 4 Minecraft days, so I don't think we're going to be needing that. Next up, the animal rancher. I swear I made one of these, but I guess not. Second to last, the protein reactor and generator. Now, unfortunately for the protein reactor, we need a rabbit's foot, which is really annoying because I don't have any, and the only way to get them is ball of fur or finding a rabbit, or stealing one. Luckily, again, you can just buy one from the market. Now, hopefully I do actually get lucky and get one. Nope. And there we have it. Last but not least in the industrial foregoing tree is the mob duplicator. Now, this is the one that I was trying to get set up when we first started doing industrial foregoing, and then realized it was too difficult to set up at the time. Good thing we can probably do this now. And with that, the industrial foregoing tree is completed as well. Moving on to RFTools. I have a feeling there's going to be some very complicated things in RFTools, specifically the dimension builder. This is going to be a rather nasty recipe that I don't even think we can do yet. It takes a endest pearl, which requires the ultimate crafting table, so that's not really on the table right now. We can do everything else here except for this endest pearl, so maybe we'll save this and do this at the end of the episode. But let's just try to get through the majority of this tree if we can. Let's start things off by actually unlocking all the quests here. Welcome to RFTools. This mod is filled with gadgets that make your Minecrafting experience a whole lot better. Teleporting, storage, building, and advanced redstone. That's great. I have no idea if we're going to be using anything in here. And there is the quest completed for that. We also got handed a RFTools control manual, normal manual, and a wrench. And we already unlocked a dimlit parcel because we killed an Enderman and got one. Well, let's go ahead and start things off by grabbing a modular storage. Portable mini applied energistic system capable of storing up to 300 stacks of unique items. Oh, that's pretty neat. We need a tier 3 module and a storage. I suppose we should now go into the matter receiver and probably all of this wireless chest stuff here. Oh, never mind. This is a teleporter. This thing does take a teleporter from Industrial Craft 2, but luckily this isn't too bad of a recipe. Next up is the matter transmitter. Can be teleported from, so this is the starting point. Next up is the dialing device, which lets you dial to them. After that, the destination analyzer enables you to check if the receiver actually has power. And finally, in this tree, the matter booster. So this is basically a safety switch, because if you teleport and there's no power, you will die, and with this, you won't. And I suppose we can also go ahead and grab a charged porter. I feel like I've got one of these before, but that's fine. Next up, let's avoid going down this tree and instead go grab a machine infuser. Infuses RFTools devices with dimensional shards. I believe that actually boosts the efficiency or utility of RFTools machines. We don't really need any, so we don't really have to look too deep into it, but maybe we will later. Next up, the builder. This is for building. Next up is the shape card. This probably gives you a shape. And then the shape card void lets you clear out areas. This would be very useful if I ever had to dig out a huge area. Wish I knew about that sooner. And last but not least, the builder quarry, which I believe is just a quarry of some sort. I'm not really sure. And unfortunately, this is a very annoying recipe. We need 4 machine frames, a reinforced full cell frame, and enderium, psi-metal, osgogloss, and manuelian hammerheads. Why? I don't know. Psi-metal, we also just don't have, so I think we're just gonna put a pause on that one until later. All right, next up, let's grab a screen. We need a screen and a screen controller. It's used for screen stuff. And we have a button screen module. Will allow screen controlled wireless redstone, which is pretty neat. And now an elevator. We already have elevators from open blocks, so these won't be too useful. Next up is a power cell. This is probably just for storing power. I wonder how much you actually get for these, though. 10 MRF, that's actually not too bad, and with the advanced one, you get 40. Not terrible. And next up is the environmental controller. Highly advanced beacon alternative. And now we get to go down the dreaded dimension builder path. Can we make the inscriber? Now this is a very, very interesting recipe. We need paper bark wood. Paper bark wood is only acquired from Stella. Luckily, I saved all of these warp points. So let's go ahead and warp to Stella real quick. And we can look for this paper bark. Now, another thing that I saw in the comments. Apparently, the pixie stole my helmet. And I did watch the video back, and yes, that's exactly what happened. Did you steal my helmet? Let's find out. And would you look at that? There's my helmet. Unbelievable. Well, let's stay very far away from those guys, and let's go look for some paper bark. Or I could just make one of the saplings with 3 pieces of paper. Or I could buy one. Okay, I swear I've seen these trees before somewhere. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Bruh. Alright, well now that we got that, we can make our empty dimension tab, which we need for the dimension inscriber. Let's just make sure that that did in fact count, because I don't want to have to go get more of those. There we go. We do also have to use one of our full resonant cell frames, which uses all of this. So that's a bit unfortunate, but that's fine. We were going to have to make more anyway. There we go, that's that completed. And I think that's about as far as we can get in RFTools, because the dimension builder is next, and we can't do that without the crafting table. Alright, with RFTools being completely done, at least as far as we can go ahead and move on to environmental tech. There's only one thing left we need to make here, and that's the accuracy modifier. That's just going to be a pretty cheap craft and nothing to worry about there. Now, the reason I say there's only one thing left is because the tier 6 solar array controller, yeah, it takes singularities, ultimate ingots, draconic reactor cores. Yeah, we just can't do this right now. So let's just go ahead and grab the accuracy modifier. And that is that. Alrighty, there's one final quest tree before we get to bragging rights, and that is Draconic Evolution. Now, we obviously cannot do anything over here because that requires chaos shards. We cannot do anything down here because that requires some very advanced stuff, such as Twilight Forest bosses, ultimate ingots, and the big crafting table. But we can go ahead and unlock all of these. If we go ahead and take a look at all of these, the axe, pick, sword, and shovel of the wyvern, they all take the exact same thing: draconium infused obsidian, draconium blocks, wyvern energy core, wyvern core, and of course a supremium tool of the various type that you need. So let me go ahead and craft up all these. There we go, we got all those completed. And then to turn these into their draconic tier, it's the same for all 4 again. We need an awakened core, Draconic energy core, and 2 awakened draconium ingots. We should have a whole bunch of awakened cores already, because I did batch craft a half a stack of those. We already have 4 draconic energy cores, and even if we didn't, we could just craft up some more, which we should probably just do. We are going to need some more eventually. And we already have the awakened draconium necessary. And there we have a full suite of draconic tools. Now, I'm not sure if I will need to set these up. I'll probably decide that later. I think we're just going to stick with the bow when fighting the Chaos Guardian, so I don't really think there's a need to level all of these up. Alright, I believe there's one final thing over here, and that is the Staff of Power. Extremely powerful multi-tool. And this is crafted by putting the sword, shovel, another awakened core, 5 awakened draconium ingots, onto the pickaxe. So it looks like the axe gets to stay in the chest. Congratulations, axe. You've somehow weaseled your way out of getting consumed. Although I will say the draconic sword does look pretty cool. Unfortunately, yep, you're going in there. Okay, time to make the Staff of Power. And there we go, Staff of Power. Now let's take a look at this thing. Looks like a giant demon pickaxe thing. That's actually pretty cool. Okay. And it looks like this is the thing that gets crafted into the Sword of the Cosmos, which is interesting. And the upgrades you can put on this are dig speed, dig AoE, attack damage, attack AoE, and RF capacity. So I may just want to upgrade this. I think that would be pretty neat. But I think with that being done, that's all the quests that we can do at the current moment without opening the Bragging Rights quest tree, aka the ultimate crafting table. But before we do that, let's just go knock out the PSI gate. All we have to do is make a CAD assembler. That doesn't look to be too bad. Yep, there we go. And I am going to have to look into how to do PSI because we are going to need it for making a bunch of psi metal. I think ebony, ivory, and normal psi metal are the things that we actually need, and I have no idea how to do that. So we'll look into that later. Not this episode, probably the next episode when we actually start working on endgame stuff, but who knows. Anyways, next stop, Bragging Rights quest and the ultimate crafting table. Now, of course, to actually make this, we are going to need to gather a whole bunch of various difficult to get resources. I have most of these, so let's just start off by putting everything we do already have into a crafting table somewhere. And let's go ahead and start off with the crafting tables themselves. We need 4 advanced and 2 elite, and I believe I have patterns for all of these. That I do, so let's go ahead and queue up the 2 elites first. And there we go. I did have to go ahead and gather some fluxed phytogro, and I had to make some osgloss blocks because apparently I didn't have the recipe for those, but we can go ahead and get that started. And then we can also queue up 4 of these. Hopefully I do have everything we need. Looks like I do. Nice. All right, so those are these 6. Next up is the iridium neutron reflectors. We need to make thick neutron reflectors with a bunch of different plates, and we do have a recipe to make the normal one, so we'll just craft up as many as we need. I think it's just 12 of these, and just like that, that is complete. And let's go ahead and also grab the extreme crafting table from Avaricia. This doesn't look to be too bad. We just need a couple crystalline catalysts. We've got a pattern for that. Crystal matrix ingots, which we have to make from nether stars, and diamond lattice, which is just some diamonds. That's actually not too bad. Let's just go ahead and do that now. Got 4 of those made up, and then we need a double compressed crafting table, which means we need 9 compressed crafting tables, which means we need 9 crafting tables to make one of those. So I believe that's 81 crafting tables. Now that is a lot of crafting tables. And there we go. And then we just have to put this in a 6-sided crafting infusion matrix block thing. So this thing. Let's just slap this in here. And there we go. Now I'm not actually sure what this does here, so I guess we can just place it down. Oh, interesting. So do you actually need this? No, apparently, I don't know if you can actually use this. I guess we could try it, but I mean, I don't really have anything that's a 9x9. Honestly, let's just put it into the tier 4 crafting table. There's no real need to mess around with it. We're already working on it, so no point, right? All right, let's start working on the outsides. We need to grab 4 advanced circuits. We already have these, 2 wyvern cores, and the last 2 resonant cell frames that we have that are actually full. Okay, good thing that we actually have enough. I already got those circuits in place. Next up, let's just go ahead and make the 4 full signalum cell frames and the crystalline trimmed block of black iron. We only need 8 of these, and these just take a block of black iron and some crystalline nuggets. No problems there. And then we've got those in place. Next up, let's go grab the 4 corner blocks. We need an Aethium block of Enderium, Mirion, and Stellar Alloy. That's not too bad. We have recipes for most of those. 2 final things we need. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more double compressed crafting tables. So that's 81 times 8 crafting tables. That's a lot of crafting tables. And last but not least, we need 8 draconium crystals. And it's weird that they choose draconium crystals because you have to put them through the chemical crystallizer, which means you need to get clean draconium slurry, which means you need to put them through the chemical washer. And also you need to get a draconium slurry, which comes from the chemical dissolution chamber with sulfuric acid. So we're going to have to be making all of this just to get those crystals. All right, I guess we'll start from the machine's chemical dissolution chamber. It looks looks to be a couple of valves, control circuits, ultimate gas tanks, and a sulfuric acid bucket. It can be from mechanism or nuclear craft. That's not too bad. So let's just go ahead and make all this stuff and then see if we have some sulfuric acid lying around. I feel like I've made this before. Turns out we are making sulfuric acid over here in the calcium sulfate factory. So if we just turn off extract on this should fill up with sulfuric acid. We can take this out and hopefully this will work. As it turns out, the hardest part of this recipe is actually getting the bucket of sulfuric acid. It's not getting the acid itself, it's putting it into the bucket. Because you cannot put normal sulfuric acid into a bucket because it is a gas. And you can't put it into a gas tank either because it doesn't count. So I don't know even what this is or how to get it out. So I'm just going to try to make a condensator. And then if that doesn't work, I have no idea what we're going to do. Okay, and for some reason, you cannot take stuff out of a gauge dropper, which is really stupid. Okay, well, we're going to have to get a gas pipe then and make another chemical reactor just to make some so I can put it in here so I can put it in a bucket. This is the stupidest thing ever. All right, well, I had to go put the gas tank in the machine and then take a gas pipe to put it in the decondensator to then turn it into this version, which I should be able to put into a bucket. Are you kidding me? Can I take it out like this? What? Oh my, I hate everything. This is the worst thing I've ever had to do. We're going to turn it back into the other type and maybe we can try it this way. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to have to make the nuclear craft version, which is a lot more complicated because you need a chemical reactor. Great, fantastic. This just doesn't work. Cool. Can I put this into a fluid dictionary converter maybe? Okay, but I can take it out of the condensator with a gauge dropper and then put it into a fluid tank, which I still can't take a bucket out of. Why not? I feel like something just isn't working as intended here because you should be able to do that. I guess not. So I guess we'll make the nuclear craft version. And there we go. That did actually work. And now we have sulfuric acid, which we can take out in a bucket. Oh my god, that was a nightmare. There is no reason we would ever have to do something like that, but here we are. So there's the dissolution chamber. We also need a chemical washer, which is looking to be rather expensive. It's actually not that bad. We just need a couple of reactor ports, reactor frames, a bunch of steel cases, another ultimate gas tank, infinite water source, and an ore washing plant, which all things considered isn't too bad. And there's our washer, and last but not least, we need the crystallizer, which... ooh, this is probably going to be the expensive one. We need a crystallizer from advanced rocketry. We need more reactor ports. I believe that was 2 ultimate gas tanks. Yep, a lapotron crystal. And finally, a sun crystal, which we need 4 pieces of glowstone and a diamond, but it does need to be charged. Hopefully, all we have to do is chuck this into the sun, which I think is what we have to do anyway. So let's just make sure that it is, in fact, morning. Okay, I'm going to assume that it is, and we're just going to chuck it on the ground and see what happens. It looks to me like it's charging. There's some little, like, lights going on in there. Okay, sweet. I think this is actually working. Good. We don't need any, like, solar laser-powered thingy to actually charge the thing. Yep, and that looks to be fully charged to me. So let's go ahead and craft this thing. Now, I was thinking I should actually set up a mechanism 5x ore duplicator so we can duplicate stuff like rutile because we are going to need that eventually. But just considering how annoying it was to get chemical dissolution chambers, maybe we just don't want to do that. Maybe we just want to set it up enough just to get these crystals and then call it good from there. And honestly, I think that's what we're going to do. Yep, over here we'll do just fine. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to put sulfuric acid into the dissolution chamber and put some draconium ore. So we are going to have to go grab some ore real quick. But we also need the sulfuric acid, and this looks to be the gas version, so I should just be able to... you know what, we're going to make a gas tank, and we're going to steal it from the calcium sulfate factory here. We don't need a whole lot for this, so let's just put that in there, and we'll let that fill up while we go grab some draconium ore. And what better place to gather some draconium than Mars? I believe we dug a hole straight down, and there was just a whole bunch, so let's go there. Unfortunately, I don't have my night vision, but you can barely see there's some right here, so let's just grab all this. Yep, and I'm just going to grab 35 pieces in case we ever need to make more, because I have a feeling we will be needing more of these crafting tables in the future, but I'm not certain, so I don't really have to want to come back here, so I'm just going to grab a whole bunch. All right, I think 12,800 sulfuric acid should do just fine, so let's go ahead and put this right here. We're going to have to pipe these in because mechanism is just annoying to work with unless you use pipes. In goes the sulfuric acid, in goes the draconium ore, and we need to actually power this, so let me grab some cables. And there we go, draconium crystals. Now let's just kind of hook this up to output. And that should go straight into an interface. Yep, and that should just be getting extracted. Boom. Okay, well, there we go. Draconium crystals are done. It is not an automated process. It will never be an automated process. We don't need that many. That's good enough for me. But that is the last thing we need for the ultimate crafting table. Boom! Welcome to bragging rights. All right, and we can go ahead and take a look at the bragging rights tree. It looks like this wants you to create the creative RF battery first. We are not going to be making that one first. I have a feeling we're probably going to do the creative mana pool and mana tablet first, just so we can automate a whole bunch of the Botania stuff, because like Elementium and Mana Steel you can only make in the mana pools, and waiting for those flowers to eat still takes a while, even though I have 8 of them. So I think these two are going to be the best ones that we should start with. But we will be doing that later. Let's go ahead and place this down right here. We got our whole lineup going. Very nice. And we have our 9x9 crafting table. All right, now that we have access to that, we might be able to go knock out a couple of these other quests. RFTools, we do have this stuff. Since we actually have that crafting table, we might be able to do this now. Might be able to do the dimensional builder, since we now can make the endest pearl, which after reviewing doesn't actually look to be that difficult. We just need ender casing, which is a bunch of ender pearls, a bunch of ender pearls, a bunch of ender pearls, end stone, and solid ender eye, which, you guessed it, more ender pearls. Let's just go ahead and get the rest of this RFTools knocked out, and then we can call it good for the episode. All right, and here's all the materials to make 3 of them. We're just going to batch craft a couple here real quick, because I figured we'll probably need more of these anyway, so we may as well. Go ahead and shift-click the recipe into there. Unfortunately, it does not look like it likes shift-click because of non-stackable items, but that's fine. Go ahead and just make 3 of these. Boom. Endest pearls acquired. Now we should be able to make the dimension builder. Unfortunately, we do need to make a whole bunch of various things. We need a silk quarry building card, which means we need the quarry building card, which means we do need to get psi metal. Maybe we should just do that. I don't know how difficult it is to get psi metal, but let me just gather up all the rest of these. We've made these before. Laser base, we actually just have. Let me just go steal that. We're not going to be making the laser, so we may as well, right? The ore miner controller, that's just going to be the big crafting recipe again. We've made one before. Actually, you know what? I think we're not actually using that. Ore miner controller tier 6. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and we also need the resource miner tier 6, and we just happen to have a 5 here because I believe we had to make that because we didn't actually put them in our inventory. So we can just upgrade this real quick, and there is our tier 6 for both of those. So that's done and dusted. Digital miner, we've made one of these before, we just have to make another one. There we go. We just need the left side now. We're going to need a attuned celestial crystal to mineralis. Oh, that's not good. I really hope it doesn't have to be perfect. I have a bunch of perfect ones, but I am going to try on a normal one, but that'll be for later. We need an advanced miner, which means we need all of these things. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Teleporter, MFE, and 2 tier 1 miners. Oof. Alrighty, I went ahead and got that advanced miner built up. It wasn't too bad, all things considered. And now we need to attune a rock crystal. I did go ahead and gather a small celestial crystal and a perfect one in case we do actually need a perfect one. And we need to attune this to mineralis. Luckily for me, mineralis is literally right there. So we should be completely fine to attune this. So let's just go ahead and place all of our little thingies down here. I forgot if I need a wand or something. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, sweet. So hopefully that will attune this. I hope I don't need to use some of my perfect ones. Then again, it's not like it really matters that much because I already have them and they're probably not going to be used at all. So if we do need one, oh well, I wouldn't be too butthurt about it. And I'm thinking, you know what, let's just get into psi just a little bit. We may as well, right? We'll just scratch the surface just enough to get some psi metal because that is the only thing that we need. So I did do a little bit of research into it. Turns out we need to use our CAD assembler on a iron CAD assembly, which is very cheap. It's just 4 iron ingots. And then we have to slap this thing into here, I think. Or maybe we right click. Oh, there we go. Casting assistant device. Interesting. This thing is definitely not a gun TM. Okay, well, anyways, let's see. Now, I believe we just, chuck redstone on the ground and shoot the CAD assembly, CAD assembly thing onto it. I don't know if it's going to work, but... Oh! I leveled up. Cool. But we have a whole bunch of psi dust now, so that's cool. I don't know what's going on. Oh, now hang on just a minute here. Apparently, you can just melt down this psi dust, and that will make molten psi metal, and then you can make it into the ingots. We may just do that, because that's a pretty easy way to get psi metal, and then we don't have to look too much into PSI, which... You know what? Let's just do it. All right, well, in goes the psi dust, and out comes the psi metal ingots. Nice. And now, what did we need this for? Oh, right, we needed to make a hammerhead, I believe, to actually make the quarry card. All right, there's all of the hammerheads. Now, I believe we have everything we need. Looks like we need another full Signalum cell frame. Let's go ahead and craft one of those up. And there is our quarry card, and I believe that is a quest in of itself. Yup, very nice. And I believe we needed this to actually make Dimension Builder, because we need a silk quarry, so we need to put a bunch of various things onto that. Boom, silk quarry, and then we can make the dimension builder. Now, do we need a perfectly attuned rock crystal? Oh my god, we actually did. Okay, well, I'm very happy that I actually made that. Well, there we go. Dimension builder. That was extremely expensive. Wow. All right. Next up is the Dimlet workbench. We need some tier 3 crafters, a full resonant cell frame, so we're going to have to go get some more resonant full cell frames, so we're going to get all of these again. Ah, great. But we're also going to need 4 double compressed crafting tables, a RFTools workbench, which I think we've already made before, and a Dimlet base part. I hope you can just get from opening those Dimlet packages, but we're about to find out. So let me go gather all of this stuff up and then see if we actually need the workbench to make these base parts, because this says right here, you can get this by deconstructing Dimlets in the workbench, but you need one to get the workbench. So I hope there's another way to get these. All right, well, I've made everything up. We are going to batch craft 10 resonant cell frames, and I figured, you know, we're going to be needing these anyway, so let's just make a whole bunch. And we are, of course, missing the pulsating mesh, which means we need pulsating propolis, which comes from the ender bees. Now, I am going to go look into something here, the industrial apiary. I was looking this up because, you know, this is extremely slow, and apparently this will automate bee production for you. So I might just make one of these real quick. We need just some sturdy casings and some bee receptacles here. So let's just make 4 of these, and let's head back to the end real quick, and then we can learn how to use these. Because if these make bee production a lot easier, then we're definitely going to just set something up over there, maybe chunk load it for a little bit and just let that cook. Industrial apiary does look like it does need power. It's always on. All right, well, let's just see here. Let me grab a couple RTGs. Hopefully these things don't take a whole lot of power because, again, I don't really want to bring power all the way over here. I could just run a giant cable over from Woodstock's solar panel area, but I feel like that's not a good idea. Although I think he's actually chunk loaded this. Yeah, looks like he has. So maybe I'll move my bee setup over here. I'm not really sure. Let me figure out how this works first. All right, so anyways, place a power down on here. Yep, it looks like it is working, and it seems to be going pretty quick. So let's just give that a little bit, and then we can come back and see what's actually happening. Oh, now here's an interesting thing. So I just looked at the upgrades for this. There's emulation upgrades, which is interesting. We might need to put an automation upgrade into one of these. That would probably make them, you know, work faster instead of having to use the time in the bottle all the time. I'm just wondering, is there anything that just makes it faster? Production upgrade, maximum installed 8. Now that is probably something that we should make because then that would go a lot faster. You know what? Let's just go make those right now. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't think we will be able to make these production upgrades because we need royal jelly, which comes from bee breeding, and I don't really want to deal with all of that. So never mind, I guess we're not doing that. Let's just go make a whole bunch of these. We'll put them in the chunk loaded area, and then we will just put a drawer on there, and then hopefully we'll just get a whole bunch of honeycombs. All right, so I just time and bottled this thing all the way up to max. I am getting obliterated by bees, but this thing is going extremely quickly now, so that's pretty good. And it looks like we do, in fact, need the automation upgrade in here. So let's see, how do you actually apply these? Oh, you literally just shift click. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the bees in there, and that should, yep, turn this back on. Let's just time in a bottle this thing. We do obviously need to get some combs anyway, and it does look to be going rather quickly, which is nice, but we can check once this bee actually expires if it will, in fact, restart it. Yep, and it looks like it did just restart. Perfect. So I'm going to just go ahead and fly around through the end. We're going to gather up a whole bunch of princesses, a whole bunch of drones, and we're just going to put together 16 of them. I gathered everything we need for 16 total, and then we can go set that up in the chunk-loaded area over there, and then hopefully when we come back later, we will have a whole bunch of mysterious combs for everyone on the server to use, because oh my god, these things are stupid slow. Yep, now that is a bee setup if I have ever seen one. Woodstock had a chunk-loaded area with bees over here already, and there were a bunch of ender drones and princesses, so he helped me set this up, and we've got 12 industrial apiaries over here, and we've already got a stack and 22 combs. So this is not going to take very long, and hopefully when we come back here tomorrow, we will be able to have literally infinite and never have to worry about this again. So now we can actually go ahead and make these resonant cell frames, finally. And let's fill all 10 of these up. And there we have some more resonant cell frames. Now, why were we making these? Oh, right, yeah, we were making the Dimlet workbench. All we need to do now is open some Dimlets, which we have 474, so let's just start opening, and hopefully we get something. I actually think we got what we need. Dimlet base part. Yep, literally one right there. Okay, well, there we go. Workbench complete. Very nice. Next up is the dimension editor, which lets you insert your dimlets into dimensions. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to be making any dimensions because we basically have everything we need already, but at least we can get this quest tree done. Last but not least is a phased field generator. It will let you survive barely in any unpowered RFTools dimension at the cost of a large amount of power. Interesting. All right, we have everything except for the enchanted books. Now, I thought this was going to be just about any enchanted books, but it turns out you actually need protection and blast protection. We should be able to make both of these, so we need 2 books and quill, a gunpowder, lapis lazuli, and dark steel ingots. That's doable. And there's our protection 4, and here is our blast protection 4. Now that just used a whole bunch of experience, so that's a bit unfortunate. But we should be able to make the phased field generator right now, and that is the last quest for today. Alrighty, there's one final thing that we need to do this episode, and that is to open all the loot boxes that we got from completing all of these quests. Now, I did go ahead and gather up 500 levels, as you saw, by literally just standing on the experience pylons for like 10 minutes. And we are going to first claim the bragging rights gate, just so we can get those levels. And that did not give us anything, so that was a complete waste of time. But at least I have 500 levels now. It also gave us a stack of black iron and a loot chest, which is nice. And now let's just go ahead and hit the claim all button. Here we go. You have to do it for each tab. Interesting. And I literally just saw a bunch of them explode out of my character. You can kind of see it happening in the background there. Oh my god. There's going to be so many loot boxes. Oh, they are literally everywhere. Okay, let's try to put these in these chests. I don't even think we're going to have enough chests. Alright, I think I got them all. I hope so. None of them flew into my Tinker's Forge, did they? Nope. Looks like I did, in fact, get all of them. Alright, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half chests. Completely full of loot boxes. And also, this one doesn't stack with the other one, so if we just go ahead and grab some of these and then shift-click them in. Yeah, it just doesn't stack with them. So let's open this one first. Corned beef breakfast. I have not eaten this. We are going to do that now. That gave me strength and resistance. And you can just eat them without having any hunger, so let's just eat all of these. I don't have these clogging up my system. How delicious. Alright, well, let's open all of these, and we're just going to shove what we get straight back into these chests, and we will see what we get towards the end. I'm not going to read out all the names, because I feel like that would take 20 minutes, and this video is already probably long enough. So let's just go ahead and open all of these. There we go, loot boxes have been opened, and I have sorted them into 6 different categories, just so we can, see what we got without having to look at every individual thing. Let's start here in the bottom right. This is all the advanced stuff that we got, like machines, machine frames, expensive components, stuff like that. Got a bunch of upgrade kits, sawmill upgrades, flux ducts, 32 elite plating, which I thought was very nice. An ME controller, we got 10 crystal growth accelerators, some deep dark portals, rocket assembling machine controller as well, and a railgun controller, so that's pretty good, plus various other things, and a Wyvern energy core. Now this is a particularly good drop, along with the 32 elite platings, because these are really expensive and very endgame. Up here we got all the foods, basically just, a chest and a little bit more of various foods that we haven't eaten yet, and some that we have. Very nice. Up here we got all the building blocks, nothing too special here, minus these Maho doors. They look pretty nice. Down in here we have all the raw resources. We got 8 stacks of congealed blood, some osmiridium, osgogloss, mana steel, fluxed electrum. We even got some dragon's breath, which is actually pretty nice, so I don't have to go get more of that, hopefully. 4 resonating gems, bottle enchanting, and 43 million cobblestone. That's a lot of cobblestone. I have no idea what we're going to do with this amount of cobblestone. I think this is a fifth of all of the cobblestone that I currently have after like 20 days of AFK with the extreme cobblestone generator. That's insane. Up here we have various other things that I find to be pretty neat or useful. Some premium apples, infusion crystals, a soul stone, saves you from death while you're carrying it, single use only. It's literally just a totem of undying. And also a singularity from applied energistics. Now this is acquired with the matter condenser, which you need 10,000 pistons to make. Yeah. That's a lot, which we are going to have to be making this eventually because these singularities are used to craft quantum entangled singularities, which you drop a singularity and an ender dust on the ground and blow it up. And these are used to make the angle sight, which we will be needing. So we're going to have to do that. And last but not least is this chest up here with various other things that aren't too particularly useful, or they're just pretty neat. Like we got a bunch of heavy plated shields, some chisels, smart input-output from Tinker.io, no idea what that does, and some other things that we don't particularly need at this stage of the game. Alright, well, I think with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, because, I mean, I basically just crafted things this entire episode. But hey, next episode, since we now have the ultimate crafting table down here, we can finally begin working on some endgame stuff. Now, what are we going to work on for endgame stuff? You'll just have to find out next episode. Goodbye.